I am your host, Just Jess. We have jumped into the wormhole into Earth-2, and what could possibly go wrong? I'm here today with my guests. We have got Paige Dula, Steve Baxi, and Kat Sumeracki, and I'd like to introduce you to them. This is Paige, and she calls herself an IT geek, and you were just on my CW chat, Legends, Arrows, and Speed.
Yes, I was just a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, thanks for being back. What have you been up to in that time?
Oh, I've been really busy. Like you mentioned, I'm an IT geek. That's kind of my day job. I'm part of the LGBT community, so I kind of have a gay job as well.
A gay job, a day job and a gay job.
Yeah.
I love that.
So I advocate pretty strongly for the LGBT community, specifically the transgender community.
Amazing.
So been really busy with the ordinance stuff here lately.
And if you're following Charlotte News, you'll know about that. And where can we find, if we want to talk to you about that, where can we find you?
Well, the easiest way to find me is I'm on Facebook, Paige Dula. Just search me out. I'm there.
Or
It's
at Twitter.
Yeah, or I'm on Twitter. Paige Dula there as well.
Paige with a A-I-G-E.
Yeah, P-A-I-G-E, not Paige like the book.
Yes, make sure you look her up. And this is Steve Baxi, and I found him. He's up at UNC Charlotte, and he actually does some podcasts of his own and some YouTube series. It is from Geek. Tell us about, so you do Primetime Crisis Live is the one I saw. Tell us all about that.
Geek thing that got started about 7 years ago now on YouTube. It's with a friend of mine named Captain Logan. That's what he goes by. And Primetime Crisis Live is, ever since Arrow and Flash got started, we start covering all the weekly television shows. And as more comic book stuff gets added, we keep going with that. So now we're up to like Lucifer, Supergirl, Legend of Tomorrow. Preacher's going to get started pretty soon. Every single show that's a comic book related thing we cover. Because
it's so much now. They keep adding, and Jess can't keep up. I'm behind.
It's crazy. We're doing like 3-4 hour shows some nights. It takes a long time. But on top of that, we do other comic book related things, other superhero related things, anything that is in that vein of adapted comic book media.
Okay, now if we want to find Geekvolution, where can we find you?
You can go on youtube.com/Geekvolution. They're also on Twitter. Then you can also get to me with Twitter at Steve Baxi, and I've got my own channel where I do kind of the same thing.
All right.
But more written, different focus.
And you see Geekvolution right there, Geekvolution, right?
Yep, that's correct.
Yeah, look at me go. I won a spelling bee once. I'm sure you guys can tell. And this is Kat Sumeracki, and she actually works here in Master Control, and she also does some cool cosplaying. Do you have any costumes planned for this year?
I'm working on a female Joker.
Oh, that's cool. Are you going to do like the new from the Suicide Squad Joker?
No. I'm not sure exactly which one I'm doing. I know that I'm coming up with going to do a modern, which is like skinny jeans, corset, and a green curly wig, and just make it very simple, so that way I've got a very basic one. And then I'm also working on a Wonder Woman. There's going to be 2 parts. One's going to be the classic, and then I'm also going to do a like a poofy skirt and kind of like a Renaissance type.
Oh, that would be kind of cool. So, you know, you mentioned Wonder Woman, and maybe that will play into, we got some Easter eggs that we'll be showing you. So this episode was crazy packed with everything. Take a look at this clip from them just hopping into the wormhole.
Let's go.
And Earth-2. So jam-packed. We saw already at the very beginning of the episode so many different people that are from, apparently they're from multiple Earths in this DC multiverse, and their faces that we know. So we saw, we can look at these different faces. We saw Jonah Hex. You know Jonah. Well, now Steve is our resident. He knows about the comic books thing. So, from what I know, Jonah Hex is a bounty hunter. And we're probably going to see him on Legends of Tomorrow.
Yeah, he's been cast on Legends of Tomorrow, and he's going to appear there. And I imagine it's the actor from that series that they used for the clip, but I'm not positive.
Yeah, and then we see Supergirl. That we heard we're doing a crossover with Supergirl. It's been confirmed. Grant Gustin will be on that, and hopefully she will come back onto our channel. We see John Wesley Shipp's Flash. Flash, which I kind of thought it was funny. They just kind of took pictures and put them in, like, so that you could recognize them. We see Gorilla Grodd. We see, okay, the Legion flight ring. What's the Legion flight ring?
Okay, so in the 31st century in the DC Comics universe, there's a group called the Legion of Superheroes, which are basically the people inspired by the original Justice League. And if you join them and you don't already have the ability to fly, they give you something called the Legion flight ring.
Oh.
It's both a fancy way of saying that you're in the club as well as giving you a communication device.
Nice. I kind of need that because I feel like, you know, I don't have the powers of knowing all this stuff like Steve does.
Yeah.
So I would need a Legion flight ring. And then Connor Hawke, which in the comics is Oliver Queen's child.
Yep.
And but apparently he maybe worked into Legends of Tomorrow, I think is what they said, but he's not going to be Oliver Queen's child.
Yeah, they've been kind of dodgy about some of that, so we don't know for sure.
Yeah, we don't know for sure. So that was just the first batch of Easter eggs. And so we see they've gone into the wormhole. They're in Earth-2, which is a pretty cool looking place. And we come into their doppelgangers. Now, do you guys have a favorite doppelganger?
Mine has to be Reverb and Cisco's doppelganger.
Reverb was cool. He was, I think it'd be really cool to be on the show that you get to be, act as two different characters, especially if you're Tom Cavanaugh. So this is Barry's we're looking at right there. We see Captain Singh is a bad guy. We see that Deadshot is actually a bad shot. And Iris, and of course they show Joe West singing. Iris has a little bit more sass to her. I kind of like this Iris. Good for her. And then of course, finally, I forgot to bring my Killer Frost doll up here. Killer Frost. We finally get to see her. Were you guys happy about Killer Frost?
Yeah, it was good to see her finally.
Yeah, I was waiting for it because all the build up and the anticipation is like, okay, when's it gonna happen?
Yes. So, okay, what were your favorites of the doppelgangers?
Mine.
Sorry, go ahead.
Mine's a tie between Killer Frost and Iris.
Okay.
Just because Killer Frost anticipation's been built up.
Yes, for
And
sure.
for Iris, I like how she's a lot more sassy.
Yeah.
And just because I tend to relate to the sassier characters.
Kat is sassy.
A little bit. And I just like how she's similar, but she's different.
Yes. Yeah. She has a little bit more like, I don't know what the word would be.
A little more grit, probably.
Yes.
Yeah.
You got grit, or you got spunk. There you go. Yes. And now, what was your favorite?
Mine's easily Joe West. I love the whole jazz bar singing kind of
Jazzy
Frank
Joe.
Sinatra sort of look thing he's got going. And the actor can actually sing.
Very much so.
So that was something he wanted to do, and that's kind of exciting. I hope he do more of that.
I know. Well, we won't see Earth-2 Joe do
Earth-2
that.
Joe won't do it. Maybe
Earth-2 got
Earth-1.
offed by Zoom, which is a bit unfortunate there. And I kind of wonder how that will play into this next episode. And we did see that they were again at Jitters, but it's called Jitterbugs.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it was like just the lounge of the late night part of the coffee shop. I'm repping my Jitters because I think that's hysterical. So it was cool to meet all these doppelgangers. It was cool. It was kind of not just an introductory episode, but really we kind of got into the meat of like who's going to be helping them out for next episode. But another cool thing about Earth-2 is because it's such a different universe, people that were not alive and more in Earth-1 are alive. So take a look at this phone at Barry, and I guess he's married to Iris in Earth-2. Look at whose names are on this phone. We've got Dad, which is Iris's dad. Then we've got Mom and Dad, which is Barry's mom and dad. We've got Hal Jordan, Diana, which is Wonder Woman. We've got
Eddie's on there.
Eddie's alive in this universe.
Eddie's alive, and then Bruce.
Bruce Wayne.
Bruce Wayne. Now, do you guys think that they'll show any of these people, or is it
No,
just
Easter egg, totally.
Easter egg?
Yeah.
Oh,
No
man.
way.
Unfortunately.
I know. Well, they could show Eddie though. Do you think? My question about this was, now that they've shown Eddie on the phone as if he's like their friends, and apparently he's alive, unless they're just like, you know, memorializing him by keeping him on the favorites list. My theory had been Zoom could be Eddie. Does that change the way you guys think at all about any of this Zoom theories, or?
Yeah, I'm still kind of torn between Eddie and Flash's dad being the one.
I know.
It's kind of between those two. Leaning more towards Eddie now, I think.
More towards Eddie?
Yeah.
What about you?
I have no idea.
No idea. Lost.
I'm leaning more towards John Wesley Shipp's Barry's dad, but Eddie is certainly possible. If you jump over to season 2 of Arrow, we had Tommy come back for one episode, and so maybe we'll get something with Eddie, but probably not as Zoom. Again, just part of it's just Zoom's build. That's a pretty massive guy.
It is, but but maybe they're just trying to throw you off. I
Maybe.
still think it'd be cool if it was like a girl.
Yeah,
You know,
that'd
it's
be
like in a dude
fantastic.
suit.
Why not?
Yeah, it could be a completely different character.
It could
Yeah.
be, yeah. Or yeah, just somebody we haven't seen before, like when they introduced Eobard Thawne, and we had not seen Matt Lesser before. I think that's how you say his name. So I'm curious about that now that they've shown, but the plot thickens because there's a guy at the end that we don't know who that is either. So that could be somebody who we're guessing. Another cool Easter egg was the Justice Society. So when Barry goes to CCPD, he's taking a gander around the place, and look at this. A free and just society. Now, Steve, cue us in. What is
Justice Society in the DC Comics universe? They're the group of superheroes that predate the Justice League. So basically, Jay Garrick, Flash, Alan Scott, Green Lantern, the original Starman before Jack Knight, all of those basic superheroes, Dr. Fate and such. And they serve as kind of the inspirations for the Justice League later on. We had Wildcat over on Arrow before. He's a member of the Justice Society. And back during the Smallville days, the Justice Society got their own big two-parter called Absolute Justice.
Oh, see, talking about the Smallville days, do you guys think that there could possibly be any bit of Superman that we see when we have the crossover?
I wouldn't count on it.
It's like wishful
Unlikely.
thinking.
Yeah.
I feel like if they do something, we will not know until he pops onto the screen, and I think that would be cool. And one more Easter egg, and this was kind of cool. Everyone here at the mayor's name of Earth-2, Central City. Mayor Snart. And so apparently he's Citizen Cold, which means he's a nice Captain Cold.
Yep.
A good guy. I'm right. See, Steve, he corroborated.
Yep, from the Flashpoint days, when they did a crossover with different universes, one of them had Leonard Snart as a politician. It was called Citizen Cold.
Do you think we'll see that?
Potentially.
That would be so
actor likes
cool.
to do a lot of fun stuff, so maybe.
Yeah, it would be cool to see Wentworth Miller as that. I'm enjoying him on Legends of Tomorrow. I haven't seen the third episode yet. I'm not caught up. It's too much. But it's been a good show so far, so I'm curious to see. Man, they could be like, I wonder if they get more of a paycheck for playing 2 roles, 3 roles. Like, oh my gosh, he gets to be on everything. One of the more heartbreaking scenes, speaking of their acting abilities, was the scene with Barry calling his mom.
Oh yeah,
That like, who welled up? Me.
And Grant Gustin is so good at putting on the tears.
He is.
He's so good at those emotional roles.
And Iris had some pretty good moments at the end of this episode with Joe West, but this was heartbreaking. And you know, with this, do you think anything more will come from the scene? Now, Jay Garrick had said something right before they went into the wormhole. Don't let yourself get sucked in emotionally. Do you think Barry's over the temptation of his mom? I mean, he's trapped in Earth-2 now.
He doesn't know that he's trapped.
Well, he does. Well, he's trapped in.
He's in the cage.
See, that's true.
That's true.
He's true. He doesn't know he's.
But he doesn't know that he's stuck in Earth-2.
Yes, because what else could go wrong? This plan seems fine. You know, I'm curious to see. I think last couple episodes with Wells kind of talking to him about like, you're never getting your mom back. It kind of seemed like he accepted it. I think. With that call, but that's cool. If I were him, I'd pop over to Earth-2 every now and then, just call. And be like, guess what I did today? Like, okay. Killer Frost and Deathstorm. Now, these were 2 highly anticipated characters. Deathstorm was cool. He was, to me, you know, he was just as cool as Firestorm, just mean. But but Killer Frost, man, she was a BA lady.
I like how they alluded to how he's suppressed the professor or doctor or whatever, and so that he's not part of the equation really anymore.
Yeah. So is that the difference between Deathstorm and Firestorm? Well, Firestorm's good, but
it's the basic difference. Firestorm's got a pretty complicated history because a lot of different people go in and mix those 2 characters to make him, and Deathstorm's kind of got the same thing going. But yeah, that's the basic difference. It's just that one's more dominant than the other.
Yeah, this was a cool fight scene, man. Look at them go with those effects. It's like watching a movie. I like this part where he grabs Jay's. You know, Jay's hat had a big role in this whole episode. You know, Paige was saying earlier that with the Sonic thing he did, what was that?
The move with the helmet. That was such a shock to me because I always thought that was the most idiotic accessory for a superhero. But then he does that and does the Sonic blast with it.
He was able to do it. And then actually, Teddy Sears was talking about on CW Fan Talk that there's, I think, a bunch of different kind of versions of the hat and costume that he wears to actually be active in. Or there's one for if he's just standing. Can you imagine? Like, okay, go change. And I think they take forever to put on, but running in that hat. But it was cool. And I liked Joe West had a funny line in this episode, something like, well, that was new. Because you forget these characters. One of the cutest lines, did you guys pick this one up when Barry and Cisco were fighting Killer Frost and Firestorm or Deathstorm, how Barry was like, did I hurt you when he was trying to hurt Bad Cisco? He's like, no, why would you hurt me? He's like, I don't know. It's cute. They still have those moments where it's like, this is a weird reality where there's supervillains and stuff.
Still new to them. They're not experts at doing this whole superhero thing.
And I think it's great that the show adds that because you kind of forget that they're totally used to, you know, like these, you think that they're totally used to all these different people in these different worlds. Cisco, and he was one of my favorite doppelgangers, creepy Cisco. Look at it. I like the dig about the samurai hair. Whatever. Do you think so? We see in this, Zoom kills him. Do you think he really killed him? No. Because that's his power. I think maybe it was something like a fake out to make them think he was dead.
Most likely.
Yeah, because it was apparently, since Reverb is such a powerful character, that's kind of what's feeding Zoom all the information from Earth-1.
Right.
So what is he going to do without him? I think Zoom is not so uniquely powerful. I think he needs a lot of other help to make himself powerful.
Obviously, because I mean, he needed, you know, Sketchy Wells to steal speed for him. He did. And speaking of the speed, Jay Garrick with the velocity, we were on, what was it, 7 this episode. Velocity 9 from the comics.
Yeah, in the comics there's an artificial speed force enhancer, which is velocity 9. And it does the exact same effect that we see usually, where the more you use it, the quicker it burns out. The bat force it is for your cellular structure, and Jay Garrick already has some of that going on.
Yeah, and so he admitted to, well, he kind of admitted to Caitlin, she just put all those pieces together in a really well-formed sentence that, that's what really is making you sick. But they're gonna keep trying. So, that's a bummer, let's go for 9. So, I mean, it was cool though. Who was glad to see Jay back in action this episode? I was tired of mopey Jay. It was kind of grating on my nerves. So I was excited to see him back doing things. I really thought that Geomancer was mildly irrelevant, but I think it kind of sets up the point that there's no Flash in Earth-1 right now. There's no hero. What do you think is that foreboding?
It's kind of tough, and I think they picked someone who had, you know, just enough powers to be too strong of a meta for like normal people to handle.
Yes, exactly, and I think that it's gonna show that Jay's gonna have to play. It's weird because now Flash 1 is in 2, Flash 2 is in 1. So we're gonna see like a kind of like a convergence of the worlds, and it's kind of cute. They're helping each other together. So one of the coolest parts of the episode I thought was that very clip at the end where well, it kind of sucked because, you know, the Flash is in jail and Zoom's jail, but the creepy guy, look at this, banging on the door. So who is that? First, I couldn't.
Who's the man in the iron mask?
Who's the man
in
the iron mask? Yes. You can't. So you can't tell his race there because it's dark, and so I can't. At first, I was like, is it like a Wally character, maybe of Earth-2?
Oh yeah.
It's possible.
Could be a Wally West. I mean, Speed Force. She's trapped him. Could it be something? Are there any characters in DC that would have a power that would like be from their head, kind of thing?
I mean, specifically for the mask, it could be a Dr. Fate thing that's being suppressed with a different mask on top. But just as far as like mental powers go, nothing comes to the top of my head right now.
Like Magneto.
Not like a Magneto kind of thing.
Marvel. But you know, I couldn't get. Did you have a theory on who it might be?
I was drawing a blank. Then again, I had no idea. I was more focused on Flash, more so than the outside factors, just because he is a very interesting, complex character, but he's so simple at the same time.
That's true. It is true, and he gets himself in all kinds of sticky situations.
On both 1 and 2.
In every world, he's always messing it up. I think that kind of puts like a kink in the chain of the theories of who Zoom might be, as I was saying before. Because you got 2 masked people now. They appear to both be dudes, and you just cannot tell who they are. So John Wesley Shipp could be one, Eddie could be one. We've seen Earth-2 Barry, so I think maybe that eliminates that. we saw in the wormhole at the beginning of the episode, Earth, those are different Earths. They're not necessarily two, all the like Grodd and all those different characters are from. Do you think Supergirl is Earth-3? Are we going to cross another universe?
I'm thinking so. If nothing else, because of the cars in Earth-2.
Yeah.
You know, you see normal, what we consider normal cars in her continuity. So yeah, I think it's probably Earth-3.
Speaking of the cars in Earth-2, that's so funny you say that. Yeah. We had some fun tweets last night. It was Ryan Spencer, Ryan M. Spencer 1 says, Earth-2 is cool, but the vehicles are from the 30s? I think it's cool.
Yeah,
it's
I like
kind of
I like how even the whole Earth is like kind of like a different color. It's like a golden color.
The 70s were in the Legends of Tomorrow.
Yes,
had a different
70s
hue.
was just golden.
It's got a very golden age comic vibe going for it, which is perfect for Jay Garrick.
Yes, and I was noticing last night watching some of it that there are some definite moments when you're watching the show that you're like, this is kind of a little hokey for TV, but it's almost like they're taking direct from frames of a comic book, like pow, you know, like him saying, not yet, you're not, or like things like that that are like a little hokey, but that it just keeps in line, I think, with the comic books. And then our other tweeter was Russell Davis, and you've seen his cute little kids here before. They dress up like all those different characters. They're Firestorm and Hawkman. And he said, Zoom is Jay Garrick's Mr. Hyde, ? Caused by the Velocity 6. And that's a good question. There were some definite parallels between Jay Garrick and Zoom in this episode because of like the speed doping.
Yeah.
So back to the Hunter Zolomon. Do you guys still think that that's a red herring, or do you think there's some depth to that?
Well, if we follow just Jay Garrick, there's no way he'd be able to be where Zoom is at the end of the episode. So it's not Jay. It could still be Hunter Zolomon. Then the question would be, how fast is he going to zoom through the portal and no one sees anything? Yeah. So it's tricky.
It is tricky. Well, I guess we'll have to keep watching to find out. Next week's episode is like part 2 of Earth-2, and it looks really cute. Check out this trailer.
Hello?
Barry 2.
Whoever's responsible for this. Oh!
So, Barry from yesterday was not you.
Zoom has my daughter and our Barry. We need to find his lair. Lair? He's a bad guy. I'm calling it a lair. Tell us where he's keeping them.
Are you serious? We're going up there? I'm wearing wingtips here. They, don't have much tread.
The Flash, only this Tuesday at 8/7 Central on the CW.
So, some funny moments from Barry, because we're seeing a lot more of Earth-2 Barry in this, because, you know, Earth-1's trapped, and Earth-2 Barry is totally different. He's got a lot of similarities, but he's a little bit of a goofy guy. And we can see in this trailer that it appears that Killer Frost is kind of helping out the group. And she has, I think, some parallels to Captain Cold in that kind of regard.
Yeah, I mean, she's bad, but she's not totally hard-hearted.
Yes,
Yeah.
and she has that snarty kind of voice too. When she talks, she has that same. I wonder if her and like Wentworth were like, how do we be cold villains together? Yeah. That's kind of cool, I think. So many more things to cosplay.
Exactly.
At the cons coming up. Speaking of, the street team is going to be at the Mid-Atlantic Boat Show. So if you like Kat's shirt, the Flash shirt, you can go to see the street team. It'll be this Saturday morning at the convention center. Go check it out, and you could win. We definitely have these left. These are, we're calling them our winter Flash gear.
Season 1.
Yes, season 1 Flash gear. And we are actually going to be at Mad Monster Convention in March, and that is coming up quicker than I can even know. And Slade will be there, the Manu Bennett, the guy who plays Slade. So if you haven't gotten your tickets yet, I believe they are on sale. You can look at WCCBCharlotte.com. And I wanted to show this off because that's so cute. It's a little Felicity Smoke. I love it. It's so cute. So definitely go to Mad Monster. They'll have all kinds of, that will never stay back up. They'll have all kinds of fun stuff there, and hopefully they'll make more Funko Pops of all of our favorite characters.
Yeah, but one thing that I'm actually getting ready to start doing is collect the Funko Pops that I've cosplayed.
That's cool. Oh, nice. You could carry them around like your little friend. That would be cute. This is what I literally last year was I wore like that Flash like on a necklace the whole time. It's not in mint condition anymore. Well, thanks everybody for being here. This episode was crazy good, and I'm looking forward to next week. I'm enjoying our time in Earth-2. So back from Earth-1, we bid you adieu. Happy Flash watching. Watch Arrow tonight. Watch Legends of Tomorrow tomorrow, and then watch The 100 following that. We'll see you next week.